Hi, boys and girls. Miss Saturn here. We're going to do our last day of poetry today, which is really cool because you guys have been sending me some awesome poems, and I'm sure you've been sending them to your teachers too. And we're really excited to get started on our next unit, even though we had a lot of fun in poetry. So the last lesson for poetry is about revising our poetry, because we know that even though when we finish our writing, we always go back to it to make sure it's the best it can be. So a lot of the time we let our writing sit before we revisit it, right? So that next time we look at it, it's with fresh eyes. So today, this is our learning goal. I can revise my poems by replacing vague feeling words with images that show rather than tell. So some of you might remember show, not tell from the beginning of the year. And when we say replace vague feeling words, that means words that are kind of like, we don't really know exactly what you mean when you say them. We could say more. We could show, not tell. Okay? So we're going to kind of think about what that might mean here, because a lot of the time poets won't just say what they mean. They'll try to say it in a more detailed way, showing rather than telling. So a poem won't really say, it started to rain. What might you think the poet might say instead of it began to rain? Think for a second. I think a poet might use a little bit more detail, and they might show what rain looks like instead of just saying that it's raining. So they might say something like this. They'd go, plot, fell the first drop. That sounds a lot more detailed than raining, and you're not just telling what's happening, you're showing the reader. Plot, fell the first drop. So now you know, oh, you felt a drop, you know it's raining, right? I'm showing you it's raining without actually saying it's raining. So I'm going to show you one of my poems, and I think you guys can help me figure out ways that I can show rather than tell. Let's take a look. My poem is called The Visit. It goes like this. Look for ways or spots where we can show more instead of just telling. It says, The Visit. I am feeling lonely. There is not much to do. It is quiet. I am still. Then the doorbell rings. Ding dong. It is my brother. I feel happy. So that is my poem. And now remember, we're revising today. So revising means we go back and we work in a different color so that your teacher can see what you fixed up today. And when we revise, we want to make sure that we're showing, not telling. So I'm going to try to look back and find spots here where I where I told what was going on or how I was feeling, and I didn't really show. So right here, I'm saying I'm feeling lonely. I might be able to do a little more showing for that, so I could circle that. There's not much to do. It is quiet. I might be able to add there. I am still. Then the doorbell rings. Ding dong. That's pretty good. And I feel happy. So these are some spots where I think, well, I could just say I'm feeling lonely, but I could also just show you what I mean when I mean I'm feeling lonely. And I also might want to show you what it means to be quiet, not just say, oh, it's quiet out. So I'm going to show you how I go back and kind of see. Let's start here. I feel happy. I'm trying to think, what exactly does it look like, sound like? What does it feel like when I'm happy? And immediately when I close my eyes and I think of someone who's happy, I think, they're smiling, right? Before I was sad, but now that my brother's here, I'm happy. So instead of saying I feel happy, just giving it away like that, I might say my serious face becomes a grin, and a grin is a smile. So I'm not even going to say I feel happy. I'm going to say my serious face becomes a grin. And that shows the reader that you are happy, right? So you're seeing a grin, it means you're happy. I might also go back, let's say it is quiet. All right, Ms. Zadran, that's okay. But how can you show it's quiet? maybe I use comparative language here. Ooh, remember who remembers that? And I say, it is as quiet as a mouse. Or maybe I say, it's so quiet. We're like this. It's so quiet. You can hear a pin drop. Right? Imagine hearing a pin drop. A pin is so tiny. Imagine it drops, it hardly makes any sound. So I'm not saying it's quiet anymore. I'm saying it's so quiet you can hear a pin drop. Right? That's so much more detailed. I'm showing you what I mean instead of just saying it's quiet. Okay? So I'm going to take a look back at this poem and I'll get right back and then I'll read you my final draft with all those revisions, me showing, not telling. All right, guys, I'm back and I have a poem that shows, not tells. So let's see what I came up with. It says, I am feeling lonely, like I am stuck on an island. There is not much to do. It's so quiet you can hear a pin drop. I am a statue, so still. Then the doorbell rings. Ding dong, it is my brother. My serious face becomes a grin. So that's me being a real poet and showing you things without actually saying them. So let's take one more look at our writing goal today because you're going to get a chance to do this in 1 second. I can revise my poems by replacing vague feeling words with images that show rather than tell. All right, poets, I look forward to it. Really go back to those poems and make them the best you can make them. Good luck today.